Hello, I'm Notes, and I'm waiting for a very special visitor. Being that it's Christmas and a Christmas special, it's time to spend time with those who you are close to, reconnecting with old friends, and perhaps introducing them to some new and exciting music.
Notes, are you in?
Dot, I see you got my message.
Yep. What's this Christmas surprise you wanted to show me?
Well, I'm about to review my next album. Since it's not very Christmas themed per se, I thought we could review it together. Make it more Christmassy.
Oh, that sounds fun. Friends coming together can make anything Christmassy. Is the album any good?
Sure, it follows my very merry metal Christmas.
I'm pretty sure that's not a thing.
Come on, it's totally a thing.
What album are we listening to?
A Canadian progressive technical metal band protests the hero with their new album Volition.
That looks terrifying.
Nonsense, it's Christmas cheer.
Okay.
Pretty awesome, eh? Dot? Oh, I guess this album's not for everybody. Well, the review must go on, so I guess I'll do it over here then. Well, I guess metal isn't really for everybody, but the review must go on. So the reason why I chose Protest the Hero as the Christmas special for this year was I got this album last year for Christmas, actually. Now see, I heard about Protest way back in 2008 when they put out their Fortress album. A lot of my friends had heard the love for progressive rock, and a lot of them were saying that you should listen to Protest the Hero. So I had a listen of their Fortress album. This was right when it came out, and I did not connect with it at all. I couldn't get into it. It was way too fast for me, way too technical, just way too intense for me. I wrote off the band completely, thinking that they were just not my thing. I didn't like them. There was way too much screaming, way too much angst. Just not really my dish. But as time passed, I got more and more into the technical side of things. You know, I got into Opeth, I got into Devin Townsend, I got into Between the Buried and Me, and eventually I got back into Protest the Hero. I still had lingering memories of Fortress, so I stayed away from Volition until it was actually given to me. So all throughout Christmas, I decided to give this guy a chance last year. And I loved it. I love the tracks like Clarity and Mist, and of course Yellow Teeth. The whole album just grabbed me. Those technical chords, which before I wrote off as just way too much for me, now all of a sudden became this great thing, this amazing kind of sound. I love those smooth vocals mixed with those screaming and the growls, you know, and I love the use of that time signature changes. It was just all so good now that I could actually take it in, whereas before it was just like, oh my god, I can't listen to this. I went back and I listened to Fortress, and I listened to Scurrilous. I think that's how you pronounce it, Scurrilous. And you know what? These are amazing works. I can't believe how much I missed out on this band before. Just this great use of progressive technical metal, and they blend it with so many different musical styles and musical genre. And they're local. I mean, they're Torontonians, such as myself. So, you know, it's great to see local talent. So let's actually look at the album, now that I've praised it. Let's actually look at for me, now that I've looked back on the rest of their discography, this album's actually not their strongest. You know, it starts off with a very strong track of Clarity, and it's great. I love that chord change of this drought is relieved by acid rain, and then it just goes into that finale. That's a very strong track, a very strong opening track. And we get through a handful of very strong songs, but you know, after listening to this album and after listening to the back catalog, they're not quite as strong as previous records. It wasn't until we got to Yellow Teeth, and that, for me, Yellow Teeth is the standout track on this album. It's just, it builds to that final, it builds and it builds, and you get to that ending and it just hits you right in the face. And for me, that is the best part of this whole album, is that ending on Yellow Teeth. And then after Yellow Teeth, we get another handful of really good songs, really solid, but again, it doesn't really make too much of an impact. They're good, they've got the style of Protest right down, you've got the technical guitars, you've got the fluid vocals that are mixed with just yelling and screaming and the angst that's also mixed with very clean and very precise falsettos that I love of the lead singer. And then we get to Mist, another great track on this album and one of my favorites from the band, and it's an ode to Newfoundland. And as a Canadian, anything to do with Newfoundland I embrace full-heartedly. Yeah, so other than those 3 songs, the Clarity, the Yellow Teeth, and the Mist, the rest of the songs are just kind of okay. They're good, but they never quite reach that same level that those other 3 songs had. And unlike previous records of them, you never quite get those secondary tracks, rather, that really emphasize the rest of the album. Both of these albums, The Fortress and Squirrelius, were trying new things. You know, they were branching out, trying different styles, inputting more symphonics within their music, more jazzy bits, more interludes, those kinds of things. With Volition, it just kind of seems to stay around center. Something that I've noticed just within this past year of a lot of albums just kind of sticking to that center and staying there and not quite wandering off too much. It feels a little too safe, this album. Protest knows what they do well, and so they just deliver on that constantly. I'll always look back on Volition as my first Protest album, and it's what really got me into the band. It still has those standout moments, as I was saying before. It still has Mist, and it still has Yellow Teeth. If you're into technical metal, and you haven't given these Canadian boys a try, definitely do so. Pick up Squirrelius, or pick up Fortress, or even pick up a Volition here. So this album definitely helped me get back into the band, and it was their second chance, and really, isn't that the whole meaning of Christmas anyway? Giving those another chance that you've kind of written off. If you don't like one aspect of the band, try looking at it from a different angle or from a different direction. That's what I had to do with these guys when I first started listening to them. You know, I wasn't really a big fan of the technical stuff, but after looking at it from a different lens, now I'm starting to love it. Now I'm starting to really embrace it. And if it isn't your thing, just don't force it. If it is your thing, it will happen, and that's what happened with these guys. If it was meant for you, it'll come. And, I think, let me just go over here. Well, maybe metal isn't really that Christmassy. Maybe Christmas isn't all about metal. I think I need to do something. Hi, Dot. Sorry I subjected you to protest. How about a Christmas movie instead?
Okay. But how about a movie we both love?
That sounds great. Christmas is about mutual sharing of things we love. Which movie do you have in mind? This light.
I'm the one hiding under your stairs. Fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, Halloween. For it is plain as